I think one of the biggest questions we have at this current time is, how long? How long are we going to be in this great shutdown? How long are we going to be facing the various restrictions on our current activities? The honest answer, I think, is we don't know. We don't know at this current time exactly how this is going to play out. But let me share some perspective based upon some of the information we're hearing from our health officials. What I'm currently hearing is that some of these measures will be in place for at least 6 to 8 weeks or maybe a couple of months in the best case scenario. So allowing for people coming back from international travel, allowing for 2 weeks of isolation, and then seeing that the number of cases is dropping, that we're not seeing continued spread within our community of COVID-19. If things are starting to get better in that period of 6 to 8 weeks or 2 months, which would take us into sometime in the middle of May, that at that point our health officials will be able to start to assess whether we can start to relax some of these restrictions. But that again really depends on what happens between now and then in terms of the number of cases that we're experiencing. So assuming this best case scenario that we've got this contained by that point in time, they'll also be looking very carefully at what's happened in other jurisdictions as they've started to ease these restrictions. So I would expect our health officials to be very cautious in opening up and starting to maybe gradually ease some of these restrictions. But we also have to remember that even if we start to see some of these current restrictions eased, what really matters for our economy is not just what's happening in our own jurisdiction, but what's happening in our neighbouring provinces, in the United States in particular, because it's such a big international market for this region, and also what's happening in our other international countries. That's why on our website we're monitoring on a daily basis the number of new cases in each province, the United States, and other international markets. Because our ability to sell, our ability to purchase from these different jurisdictions really depends on what's happening with COVID-19. Because if they're still experiencing shutdowns, demand in those markets will not be as strong as what it was before this current situation. And we've also been told there could be a second or third wave. So we also have to be careful of the possibility of this resurfacing in different jurisdictions. And some of the health officials are telling us that this could be around for up to 2 years until we're able to find a vaccine. So again, to summarize, the best case scenario would have us in these current restrictions for 6 to 8 weeks or 2 months, which would take us into sometime in May. And if things then are contained, we might then be able to start to see some easing in those restrictions. But how quickly our economy can resume our interprovincial and international trade depends critically on what's happening in those other jurisdictions. So it's vital that we continue to monitor what's happening not just in our own provinces, but also in the markets that are important to our businesses. And then I think we have to accept this reality that this may be around for a lot longer than we expect. So we might still see various restrictions, particularly on our international travel, impeding our ability to sell goods and buy goods and services internationally, could continue for much longer than we might currently anticipate. So I hope this has been helpful in helping us to think through. Hopefully this will be a lot shorter, but we do need to be prepared for some longer lasting economic impacts and some longer lasting restrictions before we are fully through this current COVID-19 crisis. I encourage you to stay up to date with our research by visiting our COVID-19 web pages, signing up for email updates, and following us on social media. Thank you for listening.